being a leader, not only on a college team, as well as, an Olympic team, comes from experience. It comes from perspective. So I know you swam, I know you played soccer, but I want to talk a little bit more about kind of your high school, college years and how that lent itself to then moving into coaching.
Okay. My high school years really go way back.
All right. Not just like, I feel like there's those years though are so formative in terms of like you being in a sport and learning skills from that. And then like at what point then were you like, no, I want to be a coach now?
Yeah. It's funny. I actually got asked the same question the other day. In high school, there wasn't a point in high school, definitely that I thought I was going to ever be a coach, but I do, looking back, remember being on our high school team, in high school swimming. I grew up in North Carolina. High school swimming in North Carolina, it was like not huge, but not like people, we cared about it, but it wasn't like we didn't practice with our high school team or anything like that. But I just remember every dual meet being on the bus and sitting in the seat behind the coach, who I loved, didn't know hardly anything about swimming. And he handed me his clipboard every meet and said, here, make the lineup. Put you in whatever events you like, let's win the meet. So make the lineup for us to win the meet, because he didn't have a clue. and I did. But I loved doing that, and I was really good at it, and our team was good, and we won a high school state championship, which was fun. But, looking back, I look at that and I'm like, that should have been a little bit of foreshadowing, I guess. And then, college, I didn't think twice about it. I just, swam in college, had fun, enjoyed myself. I got my master's in accounting and worked for Deloitte for 6 years out of grad school. And I did tax. I started in corporate tax, did corporate tax returns, and then I got into this little consulting area, did tax consulting work, and it was, I don't know, I'm not going to say it was fun. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. But the way I got into coaching, it's kind of a long story, so I'll try to make it a little bit short. I was like, I don't know, not 30 years old yet, and I was doing triathlons, and I was swimming at the local Y, and this was in Wilmington, North Carolina. My wife had gone back to grad school there, so we had moved there. I was still working for Deloitte doing the accounting, and I was swimming, just training for triathlons, and a couple of triathletes were like, hey, you're a great swimmer. Would you coach our triathlon group one morning a week? And I was like, yeah, sure. That'll be cool. So I started doing that once a week. And some of the triathletes were also masters swimmers. Are you guys still swimming?
Of course.
Y'all master swimmers?
I just started. I just registered with Masters this year.
You registered?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm an official Masters
You gotta get on
swimmer. I know, Katie, we're getting there.
She's working on me.
Yeah.
Hey,
Everyone
y'all
on
can-
their own pace. There's no
Hey.
pressure, but when she's ready, we'll be here.
they have masters world records,
Yeah.
I know.
4 a.m. It's not too late. It's
That's
not too late.
I will never swim a 400 IM ever again in my life. Let that be clear and
smart.
stated.
That was smart. I was a 400 IMer too. And
Okay.
when I did masters, I never went above a 200. And even that was a stretch. But so anyway, a couple of the triathletes were master swimmers too. And they were like, oh, we love the way you coach. Will you coach our masters group 2 mornings a week? And I was like, sure. So I go from coaching 1 morning a week to 3 mornings a week. And then the head age group coach of the Y team left, and the Y asked me to take over as the head coach. And I was like, yeah, sure. I don't know what I was thinking. Stupidest decision ever. I was working for Deloitte, and I don't know if you know anything about accounting and public accounting. You're working like
It's
60,
insane.
70, 80 hours a week. So I'm doing that. And I'm going to take over a club team and be the head coach and run practices. I don't know what I was thinking. And I don't really, to this day, really looking back how I did it. I hired a really good assistant coach, and maybe that's where I learned that you needed to have good people, because I traveled a lot too. So I would leave and the assistant coach would run things. So anyway, I did that for an entire short course season from September to March. And at some point post March, in the spring, early summer, I was in the head coach at UNC Wilmington's office, head swim coach, who I swam there for a year. I transferred there for my senior year, so I knew him. And he was asking me what I was doing, and I was sitting there telling him the same story I'm telling you. I started coaching the triathlon group and the masters group, and now the club team. he was like, yeah, he's like, man, you're nuts. And then he said, he was like, well, what do you really want to do? And I was like, and in that moment, it hit me. I was like, I think I want to be a college swim coach. And he was like, oh, well, that'd be great. He's like, my assistant coach is retiring in 1 year, next summer. Job's yours if you want it. And I was like,
wow,
I'm in. I didn't think twice. He didn't think twice about offering it to me, so I didn't think twice about taking it. But I did the Deloitte public accounting and the age group team for a whole nother year.
oh my god,
It was brutal. And I don't know.
my.
Yeah, and my wife, I was married. We didn't have kids at the time, which I don't know how I would have done it wouldn't have been able to do it if we had kids. But
well, even with your wife in school, that must have been so hard.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was wild. Probably the wildest thing is when that next year was up, I quit Deloitte and started coaching the college team, and I took an over 50% pay cut.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And and my wife was like, "You sure about this?"
You must really love this. Did we write out a pro and con list? Like, are we?
Exactly. I would have done it. I would have done it for free. I mean, I loved it. It was so fun. Anyway, that's the tale. The tale of my.
I love that.
And also, can I go back to the high school thing? Did play a part? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I did. I mean, at the time, I didn't know that it did, but yeah, I mean, I definitely think it did.